I'm Matthew, and this is a Recypher review. This is episode 21 of my Mobile Fighter G Gundam podcast, King of Hearts, Queen of Sorrows, and I'll be reviewing episode 22 of Mobile Fighter G Gundam, which is called Breakthrough Warrior Strong Ties. And something really cool about this episode is that it's actually where I got my album art. So if you look at my Actually, I could have got my ending card here for YouTube, and as well as my audio file ending card art or images for Domon and Rain. They're having a little talk together in the Gundam cockpit, and I took the image from there because I thought it was really cool. And the reason I took the image from there, and the reason I thought it was so cool, is because G Gundam all along has had an interesting relationship between Rain and Domon, and I remember them like being a couple or whatever from watching it the first time, and it kind of struck me that they were a strange couple as I started watching the show. So at about halfway through my rewatch or my watching of the show last year in 2018, I saw this episode and I realized that they aren't really a couple as much as they are co-protagonists of this story who end up becoming a couple. And I won't get into all the spoilers for Rain as to why she's so deeply involved and so invested in everything going on here with Domon and his family and whatnot, and the Dark Gundam, but it's a thing. So, but here. In the cockpit here, while they're doing repairs, they have a conversation about what they're doing. And Rain's sick, and she can't go on. Really, she can't continue to operate or do the repairs on the Gundam. And Domon says, "Hey, last time you helped me fight Master Asia and Shinjuku, and now I'm going to help you. And I'm not very good at this stuff because I'm an idiot, but just talk me through, and I'll do the best I can to follow your instructions and get the Gundam up and running." And then Rain tells Domon, "That's fine, but under one condition. I don't ever want to be separated from you again because this Gundam is my Gundam as much as it is yours." And that's I mean, they're being a little veiled about things, but I think that's that betrays the commitment that she has to him and his mission that he's on, and maybe the state of her own heart and how it's bound up with his, and why she's willing to commit to the mission to take down the Dark Gundam. And regardless how romantic that scene is, I think it definitely highlights Rey's heroism, because she's sick and she passed out a couple times, and she's still willing to work on the Gundam and help Domon keep fighting. And she's putting her life on the line, her body on the line, her health, and even Domon says, "But Rain, your health," which is kind of funny, but it's true. It's a legitimate concern that he has for her, and I don't know, it's really sweet, and I think it shows another side of Domon that we don't get to really see often. And even in the first episode, he's like, "I'm not gonna help that little girl, I'm just here for myself, this has got nothing to do with me." He keeps saying that, but then he keeps involving himself in these things and acting heroically and nobly. And I think it betrays a really sweet part of him that is just covered over by his anger and his thirst for revenge and all that stuff that we get in the show, those very male, macho, cool energies. But then we see this heroism and this steadiness and this self-sacrificing from Rain, and she embodies them outright all the time, and Domon dips into those every now and then. I'm going to say those more feminine qualities, and that's when he is kind of his best self, when he's harnessing both of those simultaneously, which I really think is cool. Alright, so moving on from Rain and Domon's relationship, I want to talk about these four fellas, the Shuffle Alliance, or who make up the Shuffle Alliance along with Domon. There's a scene where Nastasia commands them all to fight for the honor of their countries, and to to fight for the pride and honor of their countries. And it's interesting to me because the show sort of promotes nationalism in a way, and while I abhor, I think, white nationalism, technically, just the idea of it sounds really bad. Although if all white people wanted to go away and have a place only for themselves, and they just kept to themselves there, technically, if they did it free of choice and they weren't, hunting down and catching people and enslaving them and stuff like that, I don't know, don't you have the right to be alone if you want to be alone? And it may be foolish of you and short-sighted and silly, maybe even stupid of you to only want to be with people who have the same color skin as you, which race is a anyway, I could go on and on about that stuff. So I may think it's silly and dumb, and I would never want to participate in a society that's so homogeneous like that or anything. I love the mixing of cultures, and I love just all the variety. And like I'm talking about an old I love anime and tokusatsu and all these things from Japan, and not as a cultural appropriator imperialist, because like, I'm not white. Although maybe, Spanish imperialism is in my blood, so, maybe that, stains me too. But like, what about the Japanese imperialists? Anyway, my point is, cultures have stolen from cultures throughout history all the time, and when that stealing came at, the point of a sword or blade or bludgeon or club, those were bad things. But cultures got exposed to each other, and there's mutual exchange, and I think that's really cool. And anime is like it's a sign, or a anime in the West, to me, is a beautiful and awesome example of cultural exchange, because it gets made in Japan based on influences that they have, influences from Western animation, influences from Chinese storytelling, influences like because Domun's using the martial arts taught to him by Master Asia, who I believe is of Chinese extraction. And it's just neat, because as much as Mobile Fighter G Gundam does characterizations or caricatures of people from different cultures and different ethnicities, I think it kind of regards them with respect, because if you really think about it, every nation who has a Gundam fighter is wealthy enough, powerful enough, advanced enough in their science and technology, and their martial artists are of the caliber where any of them could win the right to govern for 4 years in this, quasi-democratic fight tournament competition thing that they have. And what's more open and embracing of equality than that concept, that anyone who fights hard enough and whose nation puts enough stuff into their thing. It's not equality of outcome, it's equality of opportunity. And there's something really beautiful about that, and really neat. And what's more, the idea that Nastasha, Neo-Russia, is egging these guys on and harnessing their patriotism and their pride in their countries and their nationalism to cheer them on for the sake of protecting somebody from another country, somebody who's going to be their enemy or their competitor, is really beautiful and amazing and cool. And I really like that. So I'm not really sure. I think I kind of lost the point there, but I think it's really neat, and I love how G Gundam presents things. Finally, there's a fine line between heroism and idiocy. I don't know if that's ever been said, but I just said it now. And Domun definitely walks that line, because he lets everybody else leave the Guinea Highlands to Neo Hong Kong, and he stays behind to face Master Asia, even though Master Asia just defeated him. And it's really cool how much he's willing to give, and in order to protect everybody else. And he has so much on the line. His family's on the line, but he's willing to give up everything, potentially, to stop Master Asia and the Dark Gundam, his brother Kyoji. And it's really cool. So basically, I really like this episode. I think it's a great one. I love just all the different ideas presented in it, and it was fantastic. So if you haven't seen it, head on over to Crunchyroll, check it out. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you for your time and attention. I'd love to do more of this. Like, share, and subscribe to cheer me on, or give me feedback to make me stronger and smarter. Visit luminousbeings.blog for more. I link everything I do there, so if you want to comment, that's the place where I'll definitely see it.